Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the Vechain family. Appreciate you guys as always. You guys are amazing. And as I've stated before in my other updates, right now, the Vechain, community, the ones that are here right now are the true believers. I want you guys to realize that right now. If you are holding Vechain right now and you are clicking on this update and are supporting these updates, give yourself a pat on the back, because as a content creator, I get to see this firsthand. And I've said this so many times in my other videos, but I cannot stress this enough. You do tend to see a shift in momentum, even the way people think. Right now, the amount of interest, even though, we actually have had a nice week overall for the broader market, even though we're seeing a little bit of a retracement over the course of the last 24 hours, but in a grand scheme of things, market is actually picking up steam over the course of the last, week, which of course is always nice to see. But still, in terms of interest coming in towards these projects, it's still really, really low. So give yourself a pat on the back if you're still here. Love each and every one of you guys. Shout out to each and every one of you guys that have commented on my Vechain updates. Special shout out to Patrick. This guy right here has been supporting the channel from day one. I love Patrick. And, he is absolutely amazing, and I wish the best for everyone, including, obviously, Patrick. But let me know down below what you guys think, of course. But let's take a look at what's happening with Vechain right now, down about 4.7% in USD. Also down about 3.1% in Bitcoin, comparative with the price currently sitting at about 2.5 cents right now, just below 2.5 cents. But if I were to round it up, it is around that. Valuation, 2.13 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume, about 60 million, again, goes unsaid. Before we get into any further, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So the dominance here is something I want you guys to focus very, very closely on. I know I mentioned this in all my updates, but I know everyone does not watch every single update. So this is why, we talk about the dominance in every single update of mine. That's how important it is. You're looking at the dominance actually fluctuating quite a bit. We actually came down to the likes of 63.76%, but since then you are seeing the dominance rising again. So a lot of manipulation, to be quite frank with you. Bitcoin actually just dropped below this key support line at $108,000. And pretty much that opens the door for us to retest 106,600, believe it or not, which of course means that we could see a little bit more downside in the upcoming hours ahead of us, especially if we are at these current levels, and $106,000 is a major key support line. So with that said, let's take a look at what's happening with Vechain right now. So if you're looking at Vechain, of course it's down right now. It's no secret. We are seeing pretty much since the monthly high, we are down about 6%. But with that being said, if you're going to come and take a look at from June 2nd, we actually did see an increase of about 20%, give or take. So about a 6% drop, not bad. But again, nothing too exciting either. So of course, right now, as I've stated to you guys before at the beginning of the update, you're not expecting any explosions within the price, right? We're still in the accumulation zone. We're still in a quite bearish trajectory. Not a lot of people want to hear this, but the people that are still viewing this update at this point are majority of the ones that are true holders that look at it from a realistic angle. And I want you guys to look at it simply. We are in a bear market zone right now still. You can see this for yourself. Is Vechain really going to repeat history and do something crazy as it has done in the past? Let me actually take you guys down memory lane and really let's take a look and speculate. At the end of the day, we are speculating, but I want you guys to take a look at it here. So this right here is what happened to Vechain, but this time around, with all fairness, we obviously need to consider that this was its all-time high back then. There was no resistances, there was no support, and we went literally parabolic because of that. But after we broke out of this key resistance, Vechain pumped up 740%. Like I said, there was no resistance, there was no support, so pretty much sky was the limit. And Vechain was one of the hype projects then. But believe it or not, more exchanges came on since then, and Vechain really ramped up their marketing. If you've been with me from the beginning, I've been talking about around here that Vechain did not have the best marketing, nor did it have the best tokenomics. Much has changed this time around, and it has a working product. And even when the market heated up quarter four last year, we still came up to 8 cents. With the valuation, obviously, was quite interesting in terms of where the valuation came up to for Vechain. Obviously, we need to understand, as I've stated to you guys before in my last update, circulation supply has gone up much more compared to where we were last time. But very, very impressive moves, believe it or not. With the amount of valuation we were sitting at just in December, if we had the same circulation supply as we had, from the previous cycle, I personally think we would have been, my math might be not exactly, but I think we would have been close to the 0.50 potentially even chilling in the 0.50 zone, which again is a 15.7 cents. If I'm doing quick math, makes sense. So after that, we're pretty much not too far off from an all-time high. So these are factors that a lot of people forget, but this is why I try to give you guys a better angle to look at these coins. So again, I'm not writing anything off at this point. Vechain, yes, it's still in very, very bearish trajectory right now, but of course so is the broader market. Yes, a few handful coins are the outliers that are performing better than the majority of the market, but Vechain right now currently is reacting with majority of the market, and that is that we are in a bearish trajectory. But again, I'm not writing it off. A lot of analysts are projecting that the second half of the year is going to be exciting for the altcoin market, and if that were to be the case, I do personally think the Vechain, a project with real world use case, with still quite a hype, from like, obviously I wouldn't, to be quite frank with you, the hype factor, if you kind of look at 2021 compared to now, the hype factor was higher last time. And I know a lot of people are going to come and say, CryptoZX, why are you talking negative? I'm not talking negative. I'm going to keep it 100% with you guys. You guys know that. I bring you guys, unbiased updates. I'm not going to sit here and, say something that I don't believe in. I believe in that. I think, the hype factor has actually gone down because there's a lot of different narratives that have launched. There's a lot of competition out there, unfortunately. But if you really deep dive into Vechain, this is actually one of the projects that actually has use case, that actually has working product. And that's why, there's still a lot of interest in Vechain right now. So obviously, as far as the price is concerned, we're still in this zone. We're going to take it one step at a time. Let me know down below what you guys think. We'll see you later in CryptoZX, and peace out.